Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today we're we're looking at the big headline for today. Obviously, we have Comic-Con coming up, we have Deadpool and Wolverine coming up, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about today is the Russo brothers are back. So this broke this afternoon. I want to say that I think it was around 3 o'clock. I saw some of the rumors pop up of like, hey, Marvel's talking to the Russo brothers again. They're looking for them to do the fifth and sixth Avengers films. And then, not that much time later, I believe it was Deadline who had it. Originally, it was the Hollywood Reporter who said Marvel was talking to, and now Deadline's saying it's a done deal. But not just that it's a done deal for the two Avengers films, but they have plans for the Russos going forward. And I think that begs a question of, I guess, a couple questions. Why go back to the Russos? And then, besides the movies, what is it going forward to? I think why go back to the Russos? That's maybe a little bit easier to talk about because obviously they did some of the most successful Marvel movies out there. They did Infinity War, they did Endgame, but also along with that, they did Captain America Civil War and they did Captain America Winter Soldier. I don't love those first two movies as much as most people do, but I understand a lot of people really love them. So, this was, I know, a rumor a long time ago that the Russos were interested in doing kind of Secret Wars, interested in doing the multiverse stuff. And now, with the change in direction from Kang to something new, I think it makes sense for Marvel to reconsider what they're going to be doing with Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. I don't think Avengers 6 really changes that much. I think it's still Secret Wars, but Avengers 5 and how it leads into Secret Wars, I think is going to be different and probably something they think that the Russos can handle well. It was Waldron on that, but he left or was removed recently. I don't think that's a negative on Waldron. I think it's just a kind of a commentary on the change of direction, change of plans that they have. Now, a lot of people are like, this is Marvel scrambling to get something familiar back out there. I don't think that's super necessary. Like, when somebody made that comment, I saw a great response of, well, it was always going to be tough after Endgame. It was always going to be tough after such a climactic end to continue and to say, hey, we're doing phases 1 and 2 and 3 again of another big story. We just got our big story. Marvel then got messed up even more by the pandemic, writer strikes, Bob Chapek coming in, the launch of Disney Plus. There was a huge push for a ton of content quickly. Now, Marvel said a lot of things, promised a lot of things, and it's looking bad because things are delayed, things have gotten changed. Real life events have caused changes in shows. So, there's so many things that are going on that, with the slower timeline, so many other things could have been worked through. All that to say, I don't think this is just a run back to the familiar thing. I think that Multiverse Saga is still going to feel multiverse. It's going to feel different than what we got in Infinity War and Endgame. It's just they have a couple people now they know that can handle something that size and that they've worked with before. Obviously, the Russos put in their own flair and kind of flavor to those movies, but they also know how to work with Disney and Marvel really well. But the other question that I had was, what else would the Russos be doing after or besides the Avengers films? And I think there's a there's a role for them now in the MCU, actually for a long time going forward, if things kind of work the way that I expect them to. Kevin Feige and what Marvel's doing, there's a ton of stuff out there. He is over, and they've obviously split off television, kind of, but still under the umbrella of Marvel Studios. So there's the cinematic side, there's the television show side, there's the animation side, and Feige kind of has to have his hands in all of that. Now, Brad Winderbaum, I believe, is more focused on the television side of things. And I think the Russos are going to kind of be that Brad Winderbaum type of person for the movie side of things, for the cinematic side of things. Feige still is going to be looking at the whole picture, kind of making sure all the pieces work together. He'll have boots on the ground when he needs to look at stuff and stuff like that. But he's going to hand off a bunch of the kind of day-to-day stuff, or not even day-to-day, but like some of the smaller stuff that he was doing, the more tactical stuff that he was doing that I don't think as fans we really realized he's doing, and now has been stretched extremely thin on. So I think that the Russos potentially could be taking over kind of that aspect for the movies, which I think is great because Feige should be focused on the big picture. He should be focused on how do A, B, and C tie together, and let the Russos, let Brad Winderbaum all focus in on, okay, how do we tell the best story in this medium to help support the structure of the grand story as a whole. So it's really, now that Marvel is such a juggernaut, all Marvel jokes intended, that it allows them to kind of split up responsibilities in a way that's going to encourage and foster the best projects out there. So, while I don't love everything the Russos have done in terms of the Marvel movies, I do think that this is a really smart call. If they are doing what I suggested, which is have the Russos kind of head the Marvel cinematic side under the umbrella of Feige orchestrating everything as a whole. What do you think about the Russos coming back for Avengers 5 and 6? And what do you think about my theory there with what else the Russos could be doing going forward? Let me know that down in the comment section below. And if you want to hear more talk about this, we're going to be talking about this on the upcoming 10-Minute Marvel episode, podcast episode. So definitely join us over there. Every Tuesday comes out to check out that news and everything else we have going on. Links for the podcast down in the description below. But with that, see you next time.